But was it really the best Christmas pageant ever? What made this Christmas pageant the best Christmas pageant ever? Only one way to find out, I guess. This comes to you from director Dallas Jenkins and is based on a book from the 70s of the same name. And a lot of people have been hailing this as a brand new Christmas classic. So we follow 6 siblings who have a reputation for being absolute troublemakers. But they literally hijack a local church pageant over the holidays, and they just might teach a shocked community the true meaning of Christmas. Because a lot of the parents who are involved with this production want nothing to do with them. So it's up to our leading family, the daughter who acts as our narrator for this, and the mother who actually directs the pageant. It's up to them to basically convince the community, hey, these kids being a part of this pageant, it's important. And the movie just kind of chronicles that, and there's honestly not a whole lot much else to it. I know it doesn't sound super exciting, I know it might not sound super flashy or anything, but the best Christmas pageant ever, I think, was really, really, really sweet. Like, after Lindsay and I finished the movie, we just might have stumbled across a new Christmas movie that both of us want to watch every year now. Lindsay specifically wants to watch this every year. And I think a lot of that has to do with the behind the scenes aspect of putting a community theater production together. Now, I know it's like comparing apples and oranges, comparing a church pageant to community theater. You have a lot of similar elements here. You have the casting pool, you have the rehearsal process, you have the dramaturgy aspect, which leads to a really hilarious sequence and one of my favorites in the entire movie, where they basically talk about the whole Christmas story, and the Herdmans, these troublemaking kids, they come up with all these questions about it. And the rest of the church kids are looking at them and they're like, oh my gosh, how do we never think of this? Like, as morbid as some of these kids' thoughts are, they're making a lot of sense. And I think director Dallas Jenkins does a really, really great job of capturing the community aspect of this movie and also capturing the small town aspect of the best Christmas pageant ever. Because it really does feel like this whole town knows one another by first name. You really do have this old-timey feel to the best Christmas pageant ever. It really harkens you back to a simpler time in cinematic history. I think this movie just gives you a super cozy and welcoming feeling, perfect for the holidays. And the fact that this movie was only made off of a $10 million budget, they really don't make movies like this a whole lot anymore. And I think with what we got off the $10 million budget was really impressive. All these children that they got for this movie, including our leading narrator girl, including all the 6 siblings of the troublemakers, like, they're all so real, man. You also have Judy Greer, who you might remember from a few projects here and there. She plays the mother, Grace, who acts as the director. And boy, do you feel so stressed for this woman, especially around the holiday season, which is already a stressful time enough to be a parent. Now she's volunteering for a role that she doesn't necessarily want to take on, but she has to for the good of the community. And she has to for the good of a pretty unforgiving and pretty ungrateful community, if you ask me. Aside from the preacher, like, a lot of these other characters that you meet, aside from our main family, aside from the 6 siblings, a lot of them are just awful. There's a little girl and her mom who are like the quintessential stage mom-daughter diva duo. And these actors did a really good job playing off these parts, but I tell you, man, if I ever raise a daughter like that, I would be ashamed of myself. So maybe the best Christmas pageant ever might be a bit too mean-spirited in some senses, but it's very minuscule when I talk about that. And the movie is only about an hour 35, hour 40. It's a super simple watch, guys. However, I will admit, and honestly, this is a comparison that I can't really shake, and it's not even necessarily a comparison that's a bad thing. I could not help but get serious Christmas Story vibes coming off of this. Not just in the old-timey fashion of the filmmaking, but also in the story structure and how the movie's presented. Because you have a narrator who you see presented as a 10-year-old girl here, and the narrator is an older version of this little girl who has now taken on the pageant for herself, and she's telling this story to a new batch of kids who are going to do this pageant. A new generation of kids, rather. That's a better word for it. And Lauren Graham plays our narrator here, and look, I think she does really solid. I think Lauren Graham is a really, really great actress. But again, it's honestly like she's doing her best John Shepherd impression for a good majority of it. And again, it almost feels like comparing A Christmas Story is like a huge compliment to the movie, and also a big knock against it, because I would have really liked this movie to have done something else to make it stand out in amongst itself as the newest Christmas holiday classic of the 2020s. Because like I said, a lot of the stuff here is really, really good. Really good character actors, really solid community feeling of this movie, and such a poignant third act. Again, I'm not going to give anything away. The key really is simplicity, though. And the thing that one of the Herdman kids does to really open these kids' eyes to the meaning of Christmas, it really is the most simple thing in the world. And it in turn turns into one of the sweetest things that you'll ever see. All in all, I do absolutely recommend The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I think this is going to be a really good movie for you guys to watch every single year. It's heartwarming, it's bright, it's cozy, it's funny. It's exactly what you would need this holiday season. I'm going to give The Best Christmas Pageant Ever a B+. So maybe not the best Christmas movie of all time on a technical note, but I haven't seen a lot of Christmas pageants in my life, so there's not really a whole lot that I can compare this to. Let me know what you thought of this movie down in the comments section below, and let me know what are some of your favorite Christmas movies to watch every year. I love discussing all new things in the cinematic world over here on the regular. If you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing. Tap on that thumbs up as well. No shortage of fun topics in the cinematic world to be had over here. And guys, thank you again so much for your continued support. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.